Hello guys, welcome to Learn English Easily YouTube channel. This is the second video regarding simple present tense. In the first video, we defined simple present tense. We talked about structures, means how to make positive, negative, and interrogative sentences in simple present tense. In addition to that, we talked about rules of adding s or es, means when in simple present tense, subject is third person singular. It means he, she, or it. So we add s or es to the verb. And we studied the rules there, that how or in which cases we don't add s, rather we add es, or we change y to I and then add es. So we talked about those things in the first video. This is the second video. In this video we want to talk about WH questions in a simple present tense. Okay. In a very general case, we have two kinds of questions in English language. One is yes/no question, and the other one is WH questions. Okay, now the question is, what is the difference between yes and WH question? Or basically, let me ask like this, that when should we ask our question in yes/no form, and when should we ask in WH form? You want to ask something. What is the criterion based on which you will decide the question should be in yes/no form or in WH form? How will you decide that? That's the basic question. Okay. To make it very simple and short, we use yes/no questions when we have some prior information. We think it is like this, but we are not sure about it. For instance, I have seen a boy crossing a lot and walking a lot, wandering a lot around the place I live, around my house. So, I think his house is close to my house. He's living somewhere near. So I ask him, do you live in this street? Or do you live near here? No? I ask like that, because I think it is like that. But if I ask from someone that I have not seen before, or I don't see him a lot here and there, if I want to ask his address, I will ask him, where do you live? Because I don't have any idea where he lives. Is he living in this street? Is he living in this area? Is he from this area? Where is he from? I have no clue. That's why I go with WH question. Where do you live? Yes. Same case. Suppose you have a friend and a few times you have messaged him or sent him some reels or whatever after, suppose, 11 o'clock. And you haven't received reply at night. The reply has usually come next morning. So it has made you assume that he sleeps at 11 o'clock. So you ask him, do you sleep at 11 o'clock? Because you think he is sleeping at 11 o'clock. But if you suppose you have any health issue and you go to doctor checks and doctor asks you, when do you sleep at night? Because doctor has no idea about the timing of your sleep or your sleep schedule. So he asks, when do you sleep at night? Because he has no information. So we use yes/no question when we have some prior information, and based on that we want to make sure either the information we have is accurate or not. But we use WH question when we have no information and we want to get the information. About yes/no questions, we studied in the previous video, in first video, that we just use, if we just add do or does at the beginning, and then rest is like positive sentence. For example, do they play soccer every Wednesday? It's like they play soccer every Wednesday. You just add a do at the beginning, it becomes question. Yes, no question. Then you can say yes or no. Do they play soccer every Wednesday? You can say yes, or you can say no. Same case, if the subject is third person singular, you add what? Does. Does she study English? So yes or no. In this video, we're going to talk about WH questions. If you want to make WH questions in simple present tense, how to make it. So let's get started. We have a very general formula for that. Means if you want to make question in WH in simple present tense, we have a formula for that. What is the formula? First, we have the WH. Okay. WH means we have these two letters in the questions, W and H. It doesn't matter which one is first. In one of them, for example, how, H is first, W is at the end. Others we have W and H. Basically, it means that we have these two letters in them, W and H. So first we have a WH word, like why, where, when, how many, how far, how long, how much, who, whatever. Then we have the helping verb, means do or does. So I hope you remember that. We use does when the subject is third person singular. Yes, he, she, it, we use does. Remaining we use do. Then we have our subject, I, you, they, we, he, she, I don't know, Nargis, Ahmad, whoever. And then we have first form of the verb. No need of SAS because we already have does here. And then we have this ROTS, it means rest of the sentence. And then finally we have the question sign. Let's have some examples. The first example we have is, why do they study English? Why do they study English? So we have why, which is the WH, then we have do, which is the helping verb, we have they, which is our subject, we have study, which is first form of the verb, and we have English, which is rest of the sentence here, and then finally we have the question mark. So why do they study English? To make it simpler, what do we have? We have a positive sentence. They study English. Yes, they study English. Now you want to change it to yes, no question. What do? You add a do. Do they study English? And now you want to make it WH question. You add a WH question at the beginning. Why do they study English? So it's quite simple. It is a positive sentence. You add a helping verb, do or does at the beginning, it becomes yes, no. And then you add a WH before yes, no, it becomes WH. As simple as that. Nothing to worry about. Next one. Where does Mitra work? Again, where is our WH? Does is the helping verb. Mitra is our subject and work is the first form of the verb. Where does Mitra work? Next one. When does it start? When does it start? When the WH does the helping verb, it the subject, start the verb, first form of the verb. Another example, who do they wait for every morning? Who is our WH, do is the helping verb, they is the subject, wait is the verb, for is because of the verb, and every morning is the rest of the sentence. Till here, we have the same structure, no changes at all. Now, with some WH questions, we have to add something. What is that thing? We add a noun. Let's have one example, then I'll explain it more. How many people do come here at 4 o'clock? So we have what? How many, which is our WH question, WH word. But I don't have directly do or does. What I have people, which is grammatically a noun. So we have some WH questions which are not followed directly by helping verb by do or does. Rather, they take a noun. We have noun after them. So one of them is how many, like for example, how many people, how many guests, how many books, how many movies, how many days. No? Same case, we have how much, which we use with uncountable noun, how much time, how much money, I don't know, how much information, like this. No? How much information do you need? How much time does it take? You know, like that. So we have some words that should be followed with noun after them. Another example is which. You know, which color do you like? You know? Which book do they read? You know, this kind of things. So after that we use noun. The only difference is that we have a noun here, means we have WH plus noun plus do does. We just have a noun here. How many people, how much time, which book, this kind of things. What color, what time, you know, like this. What dish, this kind of things. We have a noun there. We have one case, one scenario where we do not need to use helping verb. That is when we ask about the subject. Okay. Let me give you a little bit clarification regarding this. It sometimes causes confusion. It's not complicated or difficult, but sometimes it does cause confusion. Who can ask about subject can ask about object. Means when I'm asking that who can be about subject, you know, the doer of action or one that we are talking about. It can be about the object, the receiver of action. If you focus on this sentence that we just read, I'm asking about object. Who do they wait for? Who are waiting? They. Subject is they are waiting. The question is that they are waiting for whom? I'm asking about the object. Yes? Who are the people that are being waited for? I'm asking about the object. So when you ask about object, you follow this general formula. When the question is about object, or simply when who is in objective case, you use this general formula. Simple as like the other WH questions, no changes at all. But when who asks about the subject, it becomes simpler. It becomes simpler than that. It becomes actually like a positive sentence. Who live in this street? We have who, which is asking about the subject. Live is the verb, and we have rest of the sentence. It's actually asking about the doer of this action, that who is or are doer of this action. It is who in subjective case. Now here, because I'm asking about more than one person, that's why the verb does not have s. But if you see on the formula, we have who plus first form of the verb, maybe plus ses. It means if I'm asking about one person, about he, she, it, if I think it is only one person and it is third person singular, so I have to add s or as with the verb. The rest it is rest of the sentence. One example, who live in the street? I say, suppose, for example, that Ahmad and Ali live in this street. I have two people. If I'm asking about one person, that suppose there are three people and I know that one of them studies, for example, Portuguese. So I ask, who studies? I add es, I change y to I, and then I add es because it is one person. Who studies Portuguese? Then one person will answer that I study Portuguese. No? So when you are asking about the subject, then you don't have to use do or does. It is just complete like positive sentence. Just instead of subject, you have what? Who. Ahmad studies Portuguese. You remove Ahmad and you ask what? Who studies Portuguese? No. Ahmad and Ali live in this street. You remove who and you ask. You remove Ahmad and Ali. You ask who live in this street. So it's quite simple. Just like positive sentence. It is the subject. It is first form of the verb. It is just of the sentence. So when you use who, when you ask question with who, you have two cases. One is subjective, one is objective. Objective case, you follow this general formula. Subjective case, you make a positive sentence just in a state of subject, you put what? Who. That's it. Very simple, very easy. Okay. Let's talk about something else as well, which is very easy, but it's good to know. Sometimes we need them. That is WH question with to be verb in simple present tense. WH questions with to be verb. In this case, you don't need to use do or does. You simply go with to be verb itself. So first we have a WH, then you have to be verb or is or am, whatever, and then you have rest of the sentence. Example, what are those? What are those? What are, I don't know, what are these? Or what are your questions? What are the problems? Like this. How is the weather? Or I don't know, what is your name? No? Where is the book? Like this. Who am I? It's the name of a famous movie. I don't know. Have you watched or not? It's good to watch. If you have not watched that movie. It's a good movie. Who am I? So, who am I? Where am I? This kind of questions as well you can ask. So, we use a WH first, and then we have the to be verb, are, is, or am, and then we have rest of the sentence. So, to be verb is very easy with WH questions. That's it about WH questions in simple present tense. If you have any question or if you have any particular sentence you want to ask about, feel free to comment and like the video. If you have still not subscribed the channel, do subscribe the channel kindly and share the videos with your friends and acquaintances. Have a great time. See you guys.